welcome to Pickups Resurrection, which, man, I haven't said those words in a while. Welcome back to Pickups, people. This is a segment I had on the Captain Vice show way back when I started it, where basically at the end of every month I would show you every movie I got and every video game I got. One little segment, and you guys all loved it. And of course, as I do when everyone loves something, I just kind of stopped doing it. I don't really know why. I think there was just one month where I just couldn't find the time to do it, and I'm the kind of person, if I don't do it one month, I never do it again. Until I'm like, man, I should really do that again, and now is that time. So, of course, as I said, Pickups, if you don't know, if you're new to the show and you weren't here in the beginning, it's a segment where I show you every movie I bought and every video game I bought, but now, just to make, the resurrection in our title feel even better, now we're going to introduce comics into the mix. So any comic or manga or just book I bought, honestly, that is also going to count. So, I'm going to show you all that. I got nice little piles over here. I'm really excited to share them with you. And of course, in starting as we do, we're going to start with all the Blu-rays I purchased. Of course, starting with 7. And I know what you're thinking, Ash, how does a Fincher fan like you not own 7? I do own 7. Now I own 2 copies of 7. Here's my deal. The one thing that is definitely being reintroduced to Pickups is when we started it was every Blu-ray or DVD I buy. I only buy Blu-rays now. I've completely sworn off the DVD life. So in that, I'm on a journey to replace all this shit. Replace all this shit with their Blu-ray counterparts. I got stacks of DVDs there, all waiting to be sold off to people who still buy DVDs. So, this is, I guess, this is in the quest to replace my entire DVD collection with Blu-rays. Of course, by the time I do that, they'll have something else out, but hey, 7. All of you love 7. I love 7. Of course you do. Like, what's in the fucking box? Up next, we got a newer release with The Nice Guys. Now, The Nice Guys, still one of my favorite movies of the year. Bought this, picked it up, I was so excited, rewatched it whilst very much under the influence, and I can confirm it's very hard to watch this whilst under the influence, because it's hard to watch anything whilst under the influence, but still, it's a fantastic movie. One of the best of the year, one of the most underwatched of the year. I know all of us love this movie, but if you love this movie, why didn't you go out and support it? Because this is like, I love these two. I love these characters. I wanted a sequel. Guess who doesn't get a sequel? Me. And in keeping with the new 2016 releases, we have yet another one here. One of my other favorite movies of the year. One of my favorite indies of the year, easily. The Lobster. Now, The Lobster is, as the back says, the year's most original film. A piece of demented brilliance. I agree, Stephen Marshy and Oliver Littleton. I agree very highly. I love this movie. It's not for everyone. Like, I know a lot of people go into it, they expect a full-out comedy, and they're like, what? That was boring. And I get that, but for me, it's that kind of movie that is just so original and so creative and so strangely funny. I mean, this is very much a movie that it plays a straight face the entire way through, but what everyone is saying is so ridiculous in itself that it's funny. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant concept too. I mean, the idea of like, hey, you need to be in a couple or we're gonna turn you into a fucking animal. This is a great movie until the third act when it just gets boring, but those first 2 are amazing. And coming up next, my most recent pickup actually, just picked this one up 2 days ago, and that is The Jungle Book. Yeah, the new Jon Favreau Jungle Book. It's on Blu-ray now. I'm so hyped. I loved this movie. I had a great time with it. Thought it was a wonderful retelling of the original story with some of the most impressive animation I've ever seen. Like, seriously, the animation in this movie, it's bonkers how realistic it looks. And on top of that, the voice acting all around the board, perfect. The people they chose for this movie, like, you couldn't have gotten a better voice actor for any of these characters. Bill Murray as Baloo, done. Christopher Walken as King Louie, done. Idris Elba as Shere Khan, I still am oddly turned on by. Like, everything this movie does, done. Now, this next one I got for y'all here is one of those movies where when you are watching films under the influence, you're like, hey, do you know what would be better to watch under the influence? This movie. So this is a movie I bought just specifically to watch whilst drunk, and that is Bee Movie. This is a movie where Jerry Seinfeld is a bee, and honestly, it's one of those movies that I can't remember if I've seen this or not. I know Reddit loves it, and that's it. I think I've seen it. I don't remember. I don't know. It's Jerry Seinfeld as a bee, and he like makes out with the human or something, and I fucking know, man. It's B movie. The B movie is an A. That's brilliant, Gene Shalit. I will never be as brilliant as that. And then my next four, I'm just kind of going to show you all at once because they are all Batman movies. Because I've become the ultimate Batman guy kind of in the past month. I've fallen very much in love with the Dark Knight himself. So I got all these ones. Starting with, I got Batman vs. Robin, which I think this movie is underrated as fuck. I mean, for one, it has The Court of Owls, which for me, The Court of Owls is my #1 want for a live-action Ben Affleck Batman movie. Make it happen. And it's just I love Damian Wayne. I don't know, everyone doesn't like Damian Wayne. I love him. I think this is probably the best movie this new 52 DC animated universe has, and I think people are giving it a bad rap. And then, of course, we got, because Suicide Squad disappointed me so much, I decided to give it another chance to Assault on Arkham. I watched this the first time, like, when it came out, and I didn't like it at all, mainly because I went in like, oh, this is clearly a animated version of the Arkham games. Like, clearly, I wasn't expecting a Suicide Squad movie. When I went into it actually expecting a Suicide Squad movie, I loved it, and now I'm angry that Suicide Squad didn't just do this. Like, literally, you could have just done this. No one would have been like, oh, it's unoriginal. You just do this. It's ridiculous. Then I got one of the latest Batman movies. I got Batman Bad Blood. This is the one they released this year. I actually really like this movie. I have my fun with it. I think the villain kind of sucks. I don't really get what they were going with without Talia al Ghul. I don't know. But I don't know. I like Batwing. Is that his name? Yeah, Batwing. That guy. You can't see because Best Buy's logo is covering it up, but I like this movie. I'm excited to see where the Bat family heads next. And then we ended off with one of the more controversial movies of the year with The Killing Joke. And I know I had my own mixed thoughts on The Killing Joke, but the fact of the matter is, look at the steelbook. Look at the this steelbook is gorgeous, and you're like, Ash, that's not that gorgeous. Yeah, look at that. Look at that art. Look at that art. It's a beautiful steelbook. Look at it's so beautiful. It's like the movie itself definitely could have been done better. Cut that 30-minute prologue off, and then we're good. Focus on the animation, actually work on making it good. Then yeah, but this is one of those buys where I was like, of course I'm going to buy The Killing Joke, but if I'm going to buy The Killing Joke, it's going to be a sexy steel copy of The Killing Joke. And those are all the Blu-rays I bought this month, or last month. This is September. September, everyone. Yeah, you get the point. But anyways, now before we get into the video games, we're actually going to move on to the comics I bought this month. I'm really excited. I finally started reading comics. I'm really into these graphic novels. I buy the big ones, and I just I bring them home, and I'm like, yes, it's gotten to the point where now every paycheck I have to put aside some money to go towards buying comics on Amazon and everything. But let's get into these, because I have quite a stack. Now, first things first, I finally bought Watchmen. I finally read Watchmen, and this book's awesome. The book's awesome. I think I'm becoming this person. It's better than the movie in some facets. I do think, as much as I have a strange opinion of Watchmen, where I think it does some things excellently, but I also think it's very boring at points, I think the movie did some things a lot better than the book did. But at the same time, I think the book did a lot of things better than the movie. Either way, they're both long as fuck, and they're both very difficult to read, but I definitely understand the hype now with Watchmen, because this thing's the shit. And coming up next, speaking, Alan Moore wrote Watchmen. He also wrote this. I got Saga of the Swamp Thing. This is volume 1 of a million volumes, and I've just been really interested by Swamp Thing lately. I don't know, I started reading Justice League Dark, and I was like, oh, cool, and then they announced the movie, and I was like, oh, cool, yay! So I was like, oh, let's get into Swamp Thing, and I love Swamp Thing. I really dig this book. It's really, really interesting, very old movie monster magic here. I really enjoy this. I'm really intrigued to read the rest of the series, and I really want to get into Scott Snyder's New 52 run, because, what Scott Snyder did to Batman's amazing, what does he do to him? Up next, we have one of these special books we got here. We got Justice League Throne of Atlantis. Now, this is one of them books they've started releasing, in the Targets and the Best Buys, where it's oh, it comes with the book, but it also comes with the movie that they based it off of. So this is like a double buy. This is Blu-ray and book. And as far as the book goes itself, this is an awesome, awesome story. I loved this. I ate it up. I love it. I love Aquaman's deal with it. I love how Atlantis is attacking and Aquaman's brother. I love everything about the book, and I think the movie's shit. it's absolute shit. They just watered it down, like, and then watered it down more, and then watered it down even more, just so you know you could have the funny Aquaman water pun, and it's boring. It hardly follows the book. It introduces a bunch of new shit. I don't like Throne of Atlantis, but I love Throne of Atlantis. Up next, we got someone I really wanted to get into, and that's Green Arrow, the Longbow Hunters. This is like that one Green Arrow book. I really wanted to get into Green Arrow because I watched the show and I was like, how about I get into some real Green Arrow? And this is the one Amazon said, hey, this is the one, and this was the one. I really enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed the story. I liked the mystery behind it. I liked the characters. My one deal with Green Arrow is like, I feel like Oliver Queen really isn't thinking his whole disguise through, because like, look, like you're like, yeah, that's the Green Arrow, but then you like get to Oliver Queen and he's just that. He's just that guy, and he has like the beard and everything with the twirl, like, don't you think that's a dead ringer? He's Green Arrow. Look at his goatee. Like, I don't know if I agree with his disguises, but I like his book. Then up next we have Flashpoint! And hey, this is one of the first times I've been reading all these comic books and watching their adjacent movies, and I found myself becoming that person I hate where I'm like, man, the book is better than the movie. This is the first time I don't feel that way, because while I really enjoy Flashpoint, I really enjoyed this comic, I really like a lot of the stuff it brings to the forefront, and I want them to do an actual live action movie so bad. I want them to somehow, you know, adapt this in some way that would work into the actual DC universe. But if I watched Flashpoint Paradox again, and it's so much better. I mean, it fleshes out a lot of the things better. Like, you know, Thomas Wayne is Batman in this. The movie fleshed that out better. It gave you more understanding of it. And I like how the movie just gave you an overall beginning to it and everything. But overall, I still think Flashpoint is a great comic. And if I had one want for a solo Flash movie, it's this. And I know we had a lot of Batman in our Blu-ray haul there, and you're probably like, wow, that's an extensive amount of Batman. We also got a lot of Batman here in our comic book haul. Of course, starting off with Batman Heart of Hush. Now, this is, of course, the sequel to Batman Hush, which, I'm telling you, man, I read Batman Hush for the first time like 2 months ago. I think, for me, Dark Knight Returns has always been there, and I think Batman Hush is like there. I think I like it more, so of course I was like, Batman Hush might be the greatest graphic novel I've ever read yet. Like, I gotta read the sequel. And I think the sequel's really good. I really like all the stuff it brought to the forefront, like him, like, dressing as Bruce Wayne, like, you know, Thomas, like that, and plastic surgery. All that's cool. My issue with it is I absolutely hated the art in here. Like, the art in here is just, I just don't like it. It's all artistic and shit, and I don't know, Batman Hush had such good art, and this one doesn't, and that made me sad. Then we get into the darker side of things. I got Batman the Cult. This shit's cool. This shit's awesome. I mean, this is one of the darkest ones I've read yet, where, you know, this is the one with Deacon Blackfire. You know, that guy you ran into at Arkham Knight at one point, and you were like, oh, what the fuck? This guy's here. He's leading something. This is all his stuff. This book is awesome. It's fucked up. It's brutal. It's all around the board cool. I really enjoy this. If you want to look into like a lesser known Batman villain, I think go here. And up next we have one that is very much not less known. This is one that's much more very well known. We got A Death in the Family. You know, Jason Todd, he's getting dead, he's getting killed. And I loved it. I loved everything about it. I loved all this stuff with Jason Todd trying to find his mom when Joker's there and everything. I really liked the ending part where they introduced Tim Drake. I liked all that stuff, and I'm really excited because, you know, tomorrow's payday. I'm definitely going to pick up Under the Red Hood so I can like complete this because I haven't seen that yet, and I love Red Hood, so I'm just like, man, this lived up to the hype. This definitely lived up to the hype. And ending off with my Batman stuff, we got Endgame. This is like the volume 7 of the New 52 Batman Scott Snyder's doing. This is of course the one with the Joker and his guy's mask and his all of that and stuff. I feel like personally for me, the New 52 kind of, the Batman ones at least, they kind of started like losing their passion, their flair in their bit after Zero Year, but I really enjoyed this. I think this was really the one that brought it back. It established Joker as a motherfucker of a threat. I mean, if you want a good Joker story, here you go. This one's crazy. It's fucked up. It's almost like emotional near the end of it. I think the hype is definitely real for this one. If you haven't read Endgame yet, check it out. And last up in the comic haul before we get to the video games, I just got more New 52. This is Aquaman Volume 2, The Others. I've been reading the New 52 Aquaman and I love it. I love it. The first volume was awesome. This one's even more awesome because it introduced Black Manta. Black Manta's cool. Like, he has one of my favorite comic book villain designs ever, and they really describe him in this book like someone like me who doesn't know of Black Manta, and now apparently he's the villain in the new Aquaman movie, and I'm just like, I'm gonna have reference. And with all that, that is of course all the comics I bought over the month of August. It's a nice little snack, nice little stack that definitely ate into my bank account, but you know what eats into your bank account? $60 video games, which I only have 2 here. But yeah, let's get into our video games of the month, starting with, I got this one, I got No Man's Sky. This was one I was really excited for ever since they announced it first at E3 and you saw that trailer and it was so visceral and so big and colorful and everything, and it was like, yo, you're going to be able to visit so many planets in this game, and yeah, you can visit so many planets in this game, but honestly, I haven't really gotten into it. Like, I've really only visited the first 2. In those first 2, I was just kind of like, it got really repetitive, and as much as I couldn't wait for like the adventure aspect of this game, like, I found myself whenever I left my ship, I was just like, oh, it's taking so long to get everywhere. It's like, I don't know, I'm gonna give it a little more, just gonna give it a little more time to play around with it before I can really establish if I like it or if I don't like it. But at the moment, I am a little bit disappointed in No Man's Sky. It's just, it's not everything I wanted it to be. However, while I was left kind of disappointed by No Man's Sky, this is on the opposite end of the spectrum. This is one I literally just bought yesterday, played throughout the night, and that is the new Project Diva. This is Hatsune Miku Project Diva X. I love this game. I love this game. I'm a huge fan of this entire franchise as a whole. I own all the games, I've played all the games, at least all the ones that have been, you know, released here in the Americas. But this one's great. I really like the new aspects they added to it, because for me personally, I don't think any song list is ever going to top Project Mirai. But this one, while the song list isn't as great as Project Mirai, or even the first Project Diva, it's the extra added features that are great. This one actually has a story mode, and it's really interesting, and I talked more about it, but I actually really want to review this game. I know I always say that and then I don't review the game, but I promise with this one. I promise with this one, and if I don't do it, you can burn me at a stake. And with that, that is everything I bought within this month. That's all my pickups for the month of August. I want to hear about you guys. What did you pick up this month of August within whatever? Movies, video games, comics, you know, fucking cars. Did you get a new car? Is it a nice car? My car's not nice, like, you know, just tell me anything. Let me know if you're excited for the return of Pickups, you know, Pickups Resurrection as I've been calling it. But most importantly, everybody, until next month, stay classy.